Right now at 5, a crash in McDonald County takes the life of a Neosho man.
And we got another cold start out there. We will be a bit warmer though this afternoon. A look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, new legislation in Missouri aims to bring reform to the pharmaceutical industry. What that could mean for your wallet.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Samantha Walker.
I'm Chris Warner. It is now Tuesday, December the 30th. We have New Year's right around the corner.
Right around the corner. Do you have any resolutions you're hoping to achieve this year?
I'm going to continue to exist. I think that's the best I can do.
Really?
I'm going to be here.
You know, I agree.
That's the best resolution I could do, really. And, you know, honestly, these days, there's so many resolutions you have people set that they just don't ever really follow through with because you know you're not going to. You may do it for a week or so. And coming up, I'm sure we'll have some stories about, well, here's some handy ways on how you can commit to your resolution. But let's all be honest. We're setting unrealistic goals for ourselves. Now, I could be better at doing the weather. I could certainly try to be better. I'm sure there are things I could improve on. That's something I could try for. But I'm not going to go to the gym. There's nothing I can do about this. My hair is not going to return. There's no magic spell I can do that's going to cause any of those things to happen.
So your goal is just to continue to live. And I think
that's a laudable goal these days because, man, it's a challenge sometimes. But hopefully you're doing good. Maybe you do have a great New Year's resolution. Maybe you are good at those things. I mean, I'm sure there are folks out there, they make them, and they're great at keeping those resolutions. And if you are, that's amazing. My resolution is also to stay warm, and I'm going to start doing that by not leaving this building until probably springtime. Let's start with our live look outside downtown Pittsburgh. We've got clear skies, and we got cold again last night, which we knew was going to happen. Now, you may also be noting down in the corner, that little thing says alert day. It's not an alert day anymore. It was yesterday, though. But I'm telling you, it's because it was so cold. But it's still cold. Just not as, it's going to get better. All right, it is going to get better. Our camera, 7th and range line, looking good so far this morning. We'll head over to the KDOT camera. And our usual little trip around the region here. It's not a big trip. ODOT, they have no traffic cameras in northeastern Oklahoma. So if they could add one or two, Miami or something like that. That would be fantastic. It'd be great to expand what we can show you because, honestly, it has a bigger impact. There's a lot of snow or, whatever's going on. It makes a bigger impact if we show you the fact you can't see the road versus if we tell you, All right, we can't show you this, though. 16 degrees, both Joplin and Pittsburgh this morning. Again, it's a colorful map. I like this blend of colors. It's just not friendly with the numbers. But we are, again, doing a little better. We've got low mid-teens, even some low 20s down to the south. Anderson looks to be the warm spot right now, sitting at 21 degrees. We do have a bit of a breeze, so we've seen these wind chills like Iola earlier drop to 3, but this isn't a continuous breeze, so as it eases up, the wind chills change. But Fort Scott feels like it's 2 degrees, so it still is cold. You still need to bundle up, but make sure you're ready for slightly warmer weather this afternoon as we get a little closer to normal. We'll have some winds out of the south. They'll occasionally gust upwards of 20, and we could get a cloud or two. I think Future Track's showing a few too many clouds, but a passing cloud or two is possible. Otherwise, we're looking at clear skies today, and again, a little warmer, so it means we'll warm up a little faster. We'll go low 20s by 9, mid 30s by noon. Our highs today into the low to mid 40s, and again, those south winds occasionally gusting to 20. Temperatures will start to climb above normal as we head into tomorrow and 2026. We'll have a look at your New Year's Eve forecast, your New Year's Day forecast, and tell you just how much warmer it's going to get here in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Chris, thanks. When temperatures in our area drop into dangerous territory, some organizations and locations will open their doors to provide warmth to the community. You can find a list of those locations by scanning this QR code. This code will take you to the Warming Centers page on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com, where you can find locations in Missouri, Kansas, and Oklahoma. You can also find information on safety tips for winter, a link to resources, as well as information on adding additional warming centers to the list. The Warming Centers page on KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, authorities bring additional charges against a man in connection with the death of a teen in Lynn County. Last week, authorities arrested this man, Damon Leonard, and charged him with abandonment of a corpse. It was in connection to the death of his 13-year-old neighbor, Aaron Andula. Leonard, a Kansas man, admitted to dumping the boy's body next to a creek in Missouri. Authorities have brought additional charges against the 47-year-old Leonard, including criminal desecration, having a vicious dog at large, and interference with law enforcement. Officers seized multiple dogs from Leonard's property. Authorities say the investigation is still ongoing. Well, Missouri man is dead, and 2 women from Neosho were injured from a head-on crash yesterday in McDonald County. The 3 were in a car that collided with a pickup on Highway 76 west of Anderson. The 44-year-old man died at the scene. The women, ages 30 and 33, suffered moderate injuries. The 33-year-old Bella Vista, Arkansas man who drove the pickup was apparently not seriously hurt. Officials say temperatures near 18 degrees and strong winds made rescue efforts challenging. That stretch of highway closed for several hours, but it has since reopened. Well, Missouri workers earning the minimum wage will get a pay raise in the new year. They'll be earning $15 per hour starting January 1st. Adam Woodbury talked to some small businesses in Southwest Missouri who say some changes are already being made to adjust to the increase.
As the world gets ready to ring in the new year, a slew of new laws will go into effect in Missouri. One of them, the state's minimum wage, is increasing. It's gone up annually since 2015, nearly doubling in that time. And as it gets ready to jump from $13.75 to $15 this year, Cherokee firearms owner Jason Radney says it can put some small businesses into a tight spot.
It's going to require businesses, especially the smaller the business, to adjust their prices to help accommodate those outgoing expenditures as far as payroll and making sure that they're paying what they need to pay.
The new wage won't apply to tipped employees since much of their income comes from tips. And if a business brings in less than $500,000 in gross income, the state says they can set their own wage.
But I do understand that the smaller the store, especially if you're a local company where you're kind of right at that cusp of that $500,000 cutoff mark, that's gonna put a little of a pinch on your revenue annually.
So what that's going to mean for me is I will not be able to have as many people on the floor. And I've actually already made some adjustments when the last increase came. So I just, won't be able to have the coverage.
Ginny Redfern, who owns Bag Lady Boutique, says she understands employees want to be paid fairly, but she feels like her autonomy as a small business owner could be shrinking.
It feels like kind of a big brother decision where they made the decision, I'm not sure on what data or whatever, but they don't know anything about my small business and how I operate and where my highs and lows are and, what my budget can afford.
As of right now, there is not another increase planned for 2027.
The Show Me State leads its 4 state neighbors when it comes to minimum wage. Arkansas comes in next with $11 an hour. Kansas and Oklahoma both pay $7.25 for minimum wage, which matches the federal minimum wage. Well, some Missouri lawmakers are pushing new legislation aimed at reforming pharmacy benefit managers, companies that help control prescription drug pricing. KLM's Blake Goley breaks down what's being proposed and why it matters.
Missouri lawmakers are filing legislation for the 2026 session that would completely change how pharmacy benefit managers, known as PBMs, operate in the state. PBMs negotiate drug prices and reimburse pharmacies, but critics say their practices often drive up costs while limiting access to care. One of the bill's co-sponsors, Senator Joe Carter, says these bills deliver long overdue transparency and basic accountability in the prescription drug system so families, pharmacists, and employers stop paying for more than they should while patients get the care they need. Supporters say the proposed reforms will require pharmacy benefit managers to provide full pharmacy claims data to employers and the state's Department of Insurance, allowing for greater oversight of prescription drug pricing. The bills would also prohibit PBMs from charging patients a copay higher than the actual cost of the medication. According to the Federal Trade Commission, in 2023, the top 3 PBMs processed nearly 80% of the approximately 6.6 billion prescriptions dispensed by the U.S. that year. Lawmakers backing the bill says PBMs often steer patients toward pharmacies owned by the same companies, a practice they argue puts independent pharmacies at a disadvantage and limits patient choice.
I've got people that I've been taking care of for 20 years or more that are suddenly getting letters that say they have to either use the mail order or they have to use the CVS retail store in another town. We don't even have one in our town. Sometimes people will have to drive 20 miles or more to get a prescription filled.
The bill will be considered during the 2026 legislative session. Blake Gully, KOAM News.
That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News. History was made this year with the election of the first American Pope. A look back at this year's top international stories. Plus, 2026 promises outer space journeys with Project Hail Mary, Dune 3, and the new Star Wars movie, all coming to theaters. And warmer weather is on the way with above normal temperatures returning. Chris has a look at your Tuesday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. World Watch, history was made this year with the election of the first American Pope. While tensions in the Middle East simmered as a fragile ceasefire took hold in Gaza. And before the year was over, terror struck Australia. Tina Cross looks back on international stories that topped headlines in 2025.
In the final month of 2025, Australia saw its deadliest shooting in nearly 30 years. Police say a father and son launched a terror attack at a Hanukkah celebration, killing at least 15 people at the start of the Jewish festival. In the Middle East, emotional reunions as Israeli families welcomed home some of the last hostages taken in the October 7th attacks. A fragile ceasefire between Israel and Hamas held in Gaza, with growing calls for more humanitarian aid. Israel stunned the Gulf region with its first ever strike inside Qatar, targeting Hamas leadership and stoking fears of a wider conflict. Israel and Iran traded their biggest blows in years, with Israel unleashing sweeping airstrikes on Iranian nuclear and military sites. Iran retaliated with waves of ballistic missiles and drones aimed at Israeli cities. World leaders ramped up diplomatic pressure to end Russia's war in Ukraine. But nearly 4 years in, the fight for a lasting peace goes on. North Korea rattled its neighbors once again, testing new anti-air missiles and showcasing its growing military firepower, while the U.S. kept up joint training drills in the region with South Korea. New U.S. tariffs fueled trade tensions with China, prompting swift retaliation before President Trump and President Xi Jinping struck a trade truce after high-stakes talks. Trump is set to visit Beijing in the new year. A devastating 7.7 magnitude earthquake killed more than 3,700 people in Myanmar, the deadliest quake to strike the Southeast Asian nation in more than a century. A Boeing 787 bound for London crashed moments after takeoff in India, killing 260 people and leaving just one survivor. The investigation remains stalled after disputes over what went wrong. 2025 ushered in a historic moment for the Catholic Church. After the death of Pope Francis, cardinals elected the world's first American pope, Chicago-born Leo XIV. Europe battled a record-breaking heat wave that killed thousands and witnessed a dramatic glacier collapse that buried a village in the Swiss Alps, all as another global climate summit ended with few tangible solutions. And in Britain, King Charles stripped his brother Prince Andrew of his royal title after more fallout from the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. The 77-year-old monarch continued his cancer treatment, while Princess Kate celebrated her remission. Tina Krause, CBS News, London.
One other headline from 2025 came from Down Under, with Australia becoming the first country in the world to ban social media accounts for anyone under 16. Tech giants like Facebook, Snapchat, and YouTube face fines up to $32 million if they don't enforce it. Well, still to come, the top food trends an expert expects you to see in 2026. Plus, Warmer weather is on the way with above normal temperatures returning. Chris has a look at your Tuesday forecast. Hollywood has high cinematic hopes for 2026, and an elusive artist is helping turn a hotel into a tourism-worthy museum. Gwen Baumgarten has your Eye on Entertainment report.
With the new year just 3 days away, movie theaters are gearing up for a star-studded 2026. Highly anticipated films like Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey and The Devil Wears Prada 2 come out in the middle of next year. Film critic Jake Coyle expects sci-fi to dominate the big screen.
You've got Project Hail Mary, you've got Dune 3, you've even got a Star Wars movie for the first time in a while. So, there'll be a lot of outer space journeys in the year to come.
Hey, Luigi! The Super Mario Galaxy movie will be released in April. Days after anonymous street artist Banksy unveiled his latest piece, a hotel inspired by his work announced its reopening in Bethlehem. The walled-off hotel is filled with graffiti and artwork from the famed artist. Employees say it's not just a hotel, but a museum and artistic platform for tourists to enjoy. On Wednesday, the final episode from the hit series Stranger Things will be released.
He's planning to end our world.
Netflix reports that the 5-season series has already garnered more than 1 billion views on their streaming site. The show's popularity is undeniable, with Season 5's premiere week being the most successful for Netflix when it comes to English language shows. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Gwen Baumgartner, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Certainly a lot of exciting movies to look forward to for the next year. Well, now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, again, we've got a pretty cold start to the day once again out there. However, temperatures will start warming as we head into the afternoon and will continue to do so over the next several days. Details on all of that when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:23 now on this Tuesday morning. We're going to start with the future track, and today we're looking pretty good. Future track showing some extra clouds out there. I think that a cloud or two may be possible. We should otherwise have clear skies, and that will continue into the overnight as well, again with maybe a passing cloud or two. Tonight it's going to be cold again, but it'll be seasonably cold, maybe even just a bit above what our normal low should be, and that's setting the stage for another warm-up as we head into Wednesday. Of course, that's New Year's Eve. You can see things are looking good. We're clear. Maybe a passing cloud again here or there. Looking good if you're celebrating New Year's Eve. But as we start heading towards sunrise on Thursday, we're going to see clouds begin to increase on Thursday. And then late in the day Thursday, there's at least a shot of an isolated shower or two out there. Not expecting too much, but it is at least a remote possibility. We could see a sprinkle or two again late on New Year's Day, but the majority of the day itself seems to be just fine. So again, cold to start. Our wind, thankfully, not super gusty right now. We're just getting some, that light breeze, but when it's really cold, all it takes is that light breeze to make it feel much colder. Earlier we had a wind chill of 3 in Fort Scott, I believe it was. So you still want to bundle up this morning, still want to dress warmly, make sure you're staying warm and toasty or staying in if you can. But the sunshine today will actually bring us some of that warmer air, that and also the south winds we've got. Upper teens to start, low 30s by 11 a.m. So it's not going with our temperatures. That was the strangest sound I've made in a while, but we're not going to do that. But it is going to warm up a little quicker and be a little bit better for us out there. We'll also have those south winds, though, gusting upwards of 20 at times. So it makes it feel a little cooler here and there. And our highs today into the low to mid 40s. Through the evening, clear skies, slowly falling, which is nice because, again, between the south winds and southwest winds overnight helps bring in some slightly warmer air back into the upper 20s. And again, those southwest winds at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. As for New Year's Eve, first, make sure, of course, you celebrate responsibly. You want to make sure you make it through to the new year. But if you are heading out, you still want to bundle up. Still going to be a bit chilly. We're down to the mid 40s by 8. We'll have that southwest wind 5 to 10. Still should have clear skies. Again, clouds won't start increasing until early on New Year's Day, and we'll be falling back into the low 40s by midnight, upper 30s out there. So again, not a bad night whatsoever, but as I mentioned, do celebrate responsibly if you do plan to celebrate heading into the new year. For us, we've got to be here at 3 o'clock or so in the morning, so we'll celebrate early and then go to bed after that. Also, I think when you reach a certain age, you kind of stop celebrating the new year because it just reminds you you're getting older slowly but surely. All right, so again, mid-40s, low mid-40s today, low 50s tomorrow, low to mid-50s Thursday, but check that out, upper 50s near 60 for Friday. A weak boundary comes through, though, drops our temperatures a bit, still above normal, though, on Saturday. We'll go near 60 again on Sunday, maybe even some low 60s on Monday, and we cool back a little closer to normal. And yes, that does say flurries possible next Thursday, but also look at the daytime temperature. It is something we're watching. We do know that in the next few weeks, the pattern is expected to shift, and it's going to put us into a much more winter-like pattern. And so we'll monitor that because at some point, some snow may be possible later this month. But again, we're still a few weeks out. We'll keep an eye on all that for you. Let's check your forecast. We're going to send it over to Samantha now with Health Watch.
Thanks, Chris. The Trump administration announced the amount of funding each state will get for the first year of the Rural Health Transformation Program. The awards range from $145 million to $281 million. The program will award $50 billion over 5 fiscal years. Half the money will be split evenly among states. The other half will be awarded through a point system based on a set of criteria. Of that second half of discretionary funds, about 20% is based on a state's commitment to specific policy actions. The provision granting states extra points if they agree to implement Trump administration policies has drawn criticism. States will be rescored each year and funds may be clawed back. Well, every new year, there's a tendency to shift a new pattern of food preferences, and experts say some of these trends may be better for you than others. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has the top food trends an expert expects you to see in 2026.
Move over, cottage cheese. There are some new it foods in town.
There are things that trend and ebb and flow.
Registered dietitian Julia Sumpano with Cleveland Clinic says the first new food trend she expects to see in 2026, more mushrooms.
Mushrooms such as reishi and lion's mane can help with stress. They're considered adaptogens, and you'll find them in things like coffee and drinks and added into protein shakes.
Zumpano says mushrooms are very healthy and a good source of B vitamins, selenium, fiber, and potassium. She says they can also support a healthy immune system, brain, heart, and gut. Speaking of gut health, Zumpano expects it to continue to be a big trend next year, too.
Gut-friendly foods such as resistant starches and probiotics and prebiotics, I think will still be a very strong foundation of health trends in 2026.
GLP-1 weight loss medications are driving the next trend. Zumpano says to expect smaller portion sizes in the new year as those on the medicine have a decreased appetite, and expect protein to still be a big trend, but she expects people to move more toward balanced meals with an emphasis on protein but also adding in fiber. And finally, a focus on omega-3s.
They're support brain health. They help reduce inflammation. They're found in fatty fish and certain nuts and seeds.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Zumpano says there's another New Year's trend that's expected when it comes to alcohol, as more people are moving away from cocktails and opting for mocktails or other low-alcohol alternatives instead. She says those non-alcoholic drinks tend to be lower in overall calories and sugar. She says this trend is a step in the right direction. Well, that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 5:30, a new year may mean a new you. A local gym offers tips on making lifestyle changes safely.
And it is cold again this morning across the region. Some wind chills into the single digits. We will be a little warmer today, a little more seasonable. Look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, how Kansas City, Missouri leaders are working to keep baseball in the city.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:33. I'm Samantha Walker.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is Tuesday, December the 30th. Happy Tuesday to all of you. And it is cold again this morning.
Yes.
It was pretty darn chilly yesterday morning. It was rough. And then the wind, of course, was hitting. It was like getting slapped in the face by a brick.
You know, I have been asking for more winter weather because I was like, you know, let's make it feel like December. And then I forget what December feels like in the 4 states.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, you know what? I was wrong. I regret everything. I apologize. I spoke this into existence. Can you undo it?
So, well, we're working on it, and it will start to warm up again before too much, well, in the next 24 hours. And it just, you know, to this whole the baseball and the football thing, you know, you guys at home know I'm not a big sports person in general, but all this focus, and I'm just leaving it at this, I feel like there are considerably more important issues that we should be looking at, but I'm not in charge. I'm not a sports fan. Maybe I don't understand. Perhaps I don't.
But I don't understand the weather, and you know that so well.
I don't understand the weather either sometimes. We've been through it together where, like, it's done things, and I show you the computer data. I'm like, it's not supposed to be doing this, but it's doing it anyway.
Welcome to the 4 states.
Yeah, it is looking better today. How good does it look? Well, it looks like this in downtown Pittsburgh. It is clear. You can't see that it's cold, but I assure you, it is quite cold out there. Our camera 7th at range line looks pretty good as well this morning. We're going to head over. KDOT camera 69 and 400. Again, looking along the 171 side. Looks good. And one final stop, the MoDOT camera 20th and range line in Joplin. Looking pretty good. Clear skies are the theme again this morning and will continue to be the theme for us as we head through today, tonight, and into our Wednesday before clouds begin to increase on New Year's Day. These temperatures, though, those aren't fun. It's 16, both Joplin and Pittsburgh. Most of us are in the low to mid-teens out there, and we've got some upper teens, and we got a couple of 20s now. We got Anderson, Cassville, both at 20, and the colder spots, we've got Parsons and Neodesha, both at 11. Now, thankfully, the winds haven't been overly gusty this morning, but even with a light breeze, when the temperatures drop this low, it doesn't take much of a breeze to do that. It feels like 6 in Fort Scott, 5 in Independence, 7 Neodesha. So we still have, as that wind picks up here and there, and we still have some pretty low wind chill, so you certainly want to bundle up if you're heading out. Future track, again, as I mentioned, I think it's got a couple of extra clouds on there. I think we're looking at clear skies with perhaps a cloud or two, and our south winds will pick up a bit. They'll start gusting around 20, so not as intense as what we've seen, but it will be a bit breezy at times. But that breeze is helping bring in these numbers for us and even warmer numbers as we head into tomorrow. We're going to go low 20s by 9, mid 30s by noon, and our highs today into the low to mid 40s. Again, that south breeze occasionally gusting upwards of 20. As I mentioned, temperatures continue to climb. In fact, they will continue to do so heading into Friday. We're going to break down those details for you and take a look at the New Year's forecast here in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Chris, thanks. A new year tends to bring New Year's resolutions, and one of the most common is getting in shape. KLAM's Ty Park stopped by a gym in Carl Junction to get the tips and tricks on how to start and stick with fitness.
The turn of the new year brings a new you. For many, the new you is to get in shape.
Actually, it takes a lot. The common advice is to start small. However, it is, even though it's a small step, walking through that gym door every day is a huge change in your life. So I think it takes an identity change, an identity focus. I think you need to sit down and decide, who am I and who do I want to be? And
be all you want to be.
It's really awesome to be motivated, and so when you have those days, absolutely take advantage of that motivation. Get excited to come to the gym, get excited for your favorite lift.
But when that motivation starts to fade, then,
remind yourself why you're doing it. Remind yourself what's important to you. Maybe you're doing this for yourself. Maybe you're doing this to be healthy for your family.
Getting up and moving can be a shock to the body.
Safety goes, a great warm-up can help. A great cool-down can help. Also, when you first start out, remember that you are just starting out. You don't have to overdo it. You don't have to meet all your goals in one day.
Warm-ups are really important because it gets the blood flowing through the body, getting it prepared. And remember, every time you work out, you are damaging the muscle so it can grow back stronger.
I would just encourage you, for one, that you absolutely can make the change. You can do it. You should do it for yourself and for your family.
In Carl Junction, Ty Parks, KOAM News.
Following news that the Kansas City Chiefs will relocate their stadium from Missouri to Kansas, city leaders in Kansas City, Missouri are working to make sure the Royals stay in Missouri. Eric Graves reports.
We are not losing the Kansas City Royals. They will be here.
A week after the Kansas City Chiefs announced the team is leaving Missouri for Kansas, Mayor Quentin Lucas is guaranteeing the same won't happen with the Royals.
I hope they play in Kansas City, Missouri. I hope they play downtown Kansas City. But the Royals will be here, and we will make sure that work gets done.
He's not the only one pushing for downtown baseball. This weekend, Union Station lit up in royal blue, posting a long message to social media in support of bringing the Royals to downtown KC.
We're just saying, welcome to downtown. It's our home, and we'd love to have you down here.
Union Station is an important endorsement. Right across Main Street is Washington Square Park. It's the only known site the Royals are looking at for a downtown ballpark. Lucas says it makes a lot of sense.
You have a footprint that does not take out any existing business. You have a footprint that already itself is largely tourism, entertainment related and focused. You have tens of thousands of parking spaces nearby.
Meanwhile, a December 31st deadline is quickly approaching in Kansas if the Royals want a star bond deal. Lucas says he's hoping to have a deal to keep the Royals in Missouri before the team heads to spring training in mid-February.
We have already, I think, put out some strong proposals in terms of what a stadium could look like, what the financing could look like, and beyond.
That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. A new year might mean a new job. We'll hear top recruiter advice on how to stand out in your resume, application, and interview. And the nation's largest pecan growing state is still trying to recover from Hurricane Helene. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. In Consumer Watch, as we flip the calendar over to 2026, a new year means new beginnings. And for some, it may mean looking for a new job. Whether you're looking to switch careers or land a new role, the process can be overwhelming. In today's Consumer Watch, Jen Sullivan sits down with one career expert to talk about ways to stand out to recruiters.
Bringing in a new year means self-reflection and setting new goals. For some, that may mean looking for a new job. And many career experts say January is a good time for job seekers.
In the new year, you often see hiring opportunities increase out in the marketplace.
Dawn Fay with recruiting firm Robert Half says a new year means a new annual budget for most companies, so they have more financial flexibility to add positions. But this is a tough climate for job seekers. The latest jobs report shows 105,000 jobs were lost in October and 64,000 jobs were added in November, while the unemployment rate rose to 4.6%, a 4-year high.
The jobs are there. It's more competitive to find the opportunities you're looking for.
Fay recommends broadening your job search. If you work in marketing, don't just apply to other marketing firms. Look for a marketing job in other industries.
Certainly things are picking up in the energy sector because there's all talk about power and how are we going to power all these data centers to keep the AI work running.
Fay says tailor your resume and cover letter to each job you apply for. She says AI can be a useful tool to help you save time. Use the job description to help you come up with a rough draft.
You might, again, just want to tweak it to highlight your skills and the results that you've had from the work that you've done that could be really particular to that role that you are applying to.
Don't just apply through the company's website. Try and track down the hiring manager and email them directly as well. If you're currently unemployed, consider contract or temporary work. Take a class to develop new skills or even volunteer. Fay says that helps you explain any resume gaps. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Well, you might start seeing fewer Starbucks shops around. After decades of constant growth, the chain is now shrinking its presence in major U.S. cities. Starbucks plans to close about 400 locations, mostly in large metro areas. It has already closed dozens of storefronts, including 42 shops in New York City alone. That's due to rising competition in saturated areas, remote work, and higher costs. The company says it will now focus on fewer, stronger locations and new designs starting in 2026. That's it for Consumer Watch. Now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, again, it is a very cold start to the day for us. However, temperatures will gradually start warming today and going even above average as we roll into Wednesday. Details on your forecast when we come back.
Pecan pie lovers, pay attention. The nation's largest pecan growing state is still trying to recover from Hurricane Helene. Details in today's Ag Day Minute.
I'm Clinton Griffiths with today's Ag Day Minute. USDA says the outlook for agriculture trade in 2026 is improving. That's according to a newly published forecast. Now, according to that report, exports are expected to be stronger than previously predicted at $173 billion. That's $4 billion higher than its August outlook for 2026. Now, it also shrunk ag imports. That lowers the ag trade deficit by $4.5 billion to $37 billion. Now, behind the improved outlook, improving trade with China and a host of other new opportunities. Is a peace deal near for one of the world's largest ag-producing nations? President Trump and the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky meeting in Florida over the weekend to discuss a new peace framework between Ukraine and Russia. Since the war began back in 2022, millions of acres of cropland in Ukraine has been littered with explosive mines and ordnances. And you may have enjoyed a pecan pie this holiday season. Well, one of the nation's leading producers, Georgia, is still working to recover from the impacts of Hurricane Helene. Pecan farmers say while younger trees bounce back, older orchards suffered devastating losses.
Probably our greatest loss, as you see the loss of the tree, is your future income loss. If that tree was still there, what would it make?
That area has also been dealing with heavy rains over the summer and now a growing drought. For more Ag News, watch Ag Day weekdays on the station or get updates over at agweb.com.
Now let's take it over to Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, and again, it is cold to start the day. We've got temperatures in the teens out there, wind chills back. For some of us, occasionally dropping into the single digits, because again, we don't have the overly gusty winds or the continuous breeze that we've had the last few days. But when that wind does blow a bit, it's dropping those wind chills down pretty low for some of us out there. However, while it still is expected to be breezy today, it's going to be warmer because these winds are bringing in warmer air to the area. As I've mentioned, I think Future Track has got a couple of extra clouds out there. I think we're looking at clear skies, maybe a cloud or two. We'll have gusty winds out of the south for the most part, occasionally pushing 20 miles an hour. But otherwise, it's not going to be too bad. We'll get some sunshine, and again, that breeze bringing in some warmer air. South winds overnight tonight at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Skies should remain clear. Again, maybe a passing cloud or two. And for our Wednesday, same situation. It is mostly clear skies. It's hard to see occasionally, but if you look, you saw some cloud movement on the map here. So again, another day of maybe a passing cloud or two. Now for New Year's Eve, things are not looking too terribly bad out there. And same even on the New Year's Day. Most of the day we should be fine. It'll be very early New Year's Day or Thursday morning. For those of you who are like myself, like it's just another day of the week, you know, it's just another Thursday. Clouds begin increasing as we get closer to sunrise, and we'll start to go mostly cloudy to in some cases just straight up cloudy. And we have a little system coming through. Not much to it, but it could generate an isolated shower or two later in the evening on Thursday. So the majority of New Year's Day should be dry, but a stray shower or two not out of the question as we go a little later into the evening hours. As for this morning, clear skies. Again, chilly start, but we warm up nicely. You know, temperatures don't just take off, but we do warm up nicely. Upper teens by 8, low 30s by 11 o'clock this morning. As we roll into the afternoon, we are looking at these highs eventually climbing into the low to mid 40s. So it's chilly, but it's seasonably chilly. We're not too far from right where we should be. And we'll have those south winds 5 to 10, again, occasionally gusting upwards of 20 miles an hour. Then we head into tonight. Tonight, again, clear skies, and thanks to the southerly breezes, it's bringing in that warmer air. Now, like I say, you know, we're not going to notice a huge difference, but see our temperature drop slows down as we head through the evening, still in the mid-30s by 10. We're going to fall back into the upper 20s, maybe some low 30s here and there. Southwest winds 5 to 10. So our lows tonight, pretty close to normal as well. As we head into New Year's Eve, first, of course, make sure you celebrate responsibly because we want you to join us again. You may not join us New Year's Day morning if you're celebrating or ringing in the new year, or maybe you will join us because I'm already awake. Might as well stay up, right? But we still want you to join us. So celebrate responsibly, and the temperatures, again, not too bad. Mid-40s by 8 o'clock as we get closer to midnight, upper 30s, low 40s. So chilly, but not bad and still above normal. Back to the mid-40s, the mid-30s rather, as we head toward 4 o'clock in the morning, and we'll have that southwest breeze at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Now for New Year's Day itself, again, warm. We're going to go low 50s tomorrow, low to mid-50s for New Year's Day, almost 60 on Friday. Maybe some of our southern counties could reach the low 60s. A little wave comes in Saturday. It's a little boundary, brings our temperatures down just a bit, still above normal. And then we warm back up, upper 50s, some low 60s. And the next week, temperatures begin to fall back. We do have that flurries possible for next Thursday, but as you can see, the daytime temperatures still pretty warm. It's just something that we will keep an eye on because we do know the long-range data is pretty consistent that winter is going to make a more permanent return in the next few weeks. And of course, we'll keep you updated on that. That's Check Your Forecast. We're back with more right after this.
Forbes determined Beyonce has joined the Billionaire Club. She's the 5th musician to reach the milestone. The others are her husband Jay-Z, Taylor Swift, Bruce Springsteen, and Rihanna. Those 5 are among 22 billionaire entertainers Forbes has identified. Beyonce's recent successes include her 2023 Renaissance World Tour, which grossed nearly $600 million.
And we've got that cold start out there this morning, but we will gradually warm up. Upper teens by 8, low 30s by 11 a.m. Clear skies, maybe a passing cloud or two, and we'll go right around the low to mid 40s today. Southwest winds occasionally gusting upwards of 20 miles an hour. As we head into tonight, clear skies continue, and the southerly breezes keeping the warm temperatures around. Now, I know this isn't really warm, but see how slowly the temperatures fall back, and eventually we'll make it back into the upper 20s with southwest winds at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Heading into our Wednesday, low 50s out there, few clouds, mid 30s for the lows as we head into New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Low mid 50s, an isolated evening shower after say 6 or 7 o'clock, possible New Year's Day. Most of the day is just dry and mostly cloudy. Near 60 for Friday, a little cooler as we head into Saturday, warming back up Sunday and Monday, and then we cool back down a little closer to average by next week. And yes, that does say flurries possible. Nothing significant that we're looking at, but we are looking at the return of winter at some point in the next few weeks. That is a check of your forecast. We've got another hour of the KOAM Morning News right after this.